Welcome to part 8 on how the Cadian army is organised. And in this episode we'll be exploring how the various combat vehicles of the Astra Militarum are organised. Before we begin, it is important that you guys support me by simply hitting the like and subscribe button and to share this video with your friends. And furthermore, you can also support me on my Patreon page. The links are in the description below. With your support, I can continue to make these videos and to bring more content onto the channel. Thank you for listening. Now, what are we waiting for? Let us begin. The Hellhound. The Hellhound, sometimes nicknamed the Dragon, is an Imperial Guard flame tank based on the chassis of the Chimera. It is armed with a large flamer known as the Inferno Cannon, discharging lethal self-igniting chemicals to flush out infantry in dense terrain and urban combat zones. It is feared by all enemies because of its ability to cover a wide area with flames and cause horrific losses to units that cluster together. Hellhounds are typically organised into either dedicated Hellhound tank companies or support squadrons for armoured mechanised companies, but will rarely fight together as a complete unit. Most commanders take a flexible approach to Hellhound deployment, attaching them to other units in an ad hoc fashion as needed. A select few guardsmen have the foolhardy bravery or insanity to willingly volunteer to crew a Hellhound. Those who do take perverse pride in their reputation, claiming others simply can't take the heat, as they gun their vehicle towards the largest concentration of enemy forces with paranoiacal zeal. The Inferno Cannon, mounted on the Hellhound's turret, has a short range but can spray its chemical fire over a wide area, filling every nook and cranny with flaming death and incinerating troops sheltering within buildings or behind cover. It is fed by a large Prometheum tank in place of the Chimera's troop compartment, with a large enough supply to give the Hellhound ample endurance during extended battles. While the large capacity overcomes the typical ammunition problems of the other flame-throwing weapons, it does make the Hellhound a tempting target, as enemy fire can easily ignite the stored Prometheum and create a huge superheated fireball. For this reason, not only is the fuel tank armoured, but the Hellhound itself boasts thicker armouring than found on the Chimera, along with a much larger engine. In addition, the Hellhound is also fitted with a hull-mounted heavy bolter, though in some models it is replaced with a heavy flamer, or multi-melter. The vehicle can also be upgraded with a number of additions and modifications, including camo netting, a dozer blade, extra armor plating, a hunter-killer missile, a pintle-mounted heavy stubber or storm bolter, a searchlight, and or smoke launchers. There are 3 known patterns of Hellhounds as follows. The Mars pattern. More popular amongst the Guard commanders, as their profile is largely unchanged from that of the standard Chimera, making it harder for the enemy to single them out. The Promethean Resolver fills the Chimera's cargo space. The Mark II, compared to that of the previous Mark I variant, has a significant upgrade as compared to its counterpart. It has a 360-degree traversing turret, whereas the previous pattern had a 210-degree traversing turret. Therefore, it brings a distinct advantage when defending itself against enemy infantry or that of vehicles. The Artemia pattern. The Artemia pattern differs in 2 key ways. It has a remotely operated turret, reducing the number of crew to 2, and the cargo space is replaced with a much larger capacity fuel cell. This fuel cell is by necessity very heavily armoured. The Garia pattern. The Garia pattern also replaces the cargo compartment with a larger fuel cell but retains the standard manual turret and a crew of 3. The Devil Dog. The Devil Dog is a variant of the Hellhound flamethrower tank that is used by the Astra Militarum. Both vehicles are based upon the Imperial Chimera armored transport chassis. The Devil Dog variant replaces the Hellhound's Inferno cannon with a snub-nosed melter cannon and is used by the Imperial Guard for anti-armoured combat and for engaging enemy heavy infantry, such as those wearing power armour. As the Devil Dog is a variant of the Hellhound, its troop compartment has been replaced with an armoured storage area for a Promethean petrol fuel mix. Acquiring its name from the high-pitched howl its melter cannon makes upon firing, the Devil Dog is capable of punching far above its weight in armoured combat. Indeed, many Devil Dog crews style themselves as big game hunters or monster slayers, excelling in the eradication of enemy armour and exceptionally heavy infantry assets. A foe forced to fight protected campaigns in dense terrain against the Astra Militarum soon learns to dread the haunch silhouette of a Devil Dog. Those who don't find their vehicles reduced to molten slag by their aggressive and fast-moving tank hunter. The pairing of the Devil Dogs with Hellhounds on the battlefield is a commonplace amongst the battle groups of the Imperial Guard. So much so that an entire page of the Tactica Imperium is dedicated to the deadly synergy achieved by fielding them in mixed desolation squads. The Hellhound, being vulnerable to heavily armoured enemy tanks, is protected by infantry melter blasts by the Devil Dog. Conversely, the rivers of flame that pour from the Hellhound's Inferno cannon emulate any massed infantry trying to swarm the Devil Dog, working in constant. Those who 2 tanks make short work of the foe. The Banewolf. The Banewolf is a variant of the Hellhound flamethrower tank that is used by the Astra Militarum, and both vehicles are based upon the Imperial Guard Chimera chassis. The Banewolf variant of the Hellhound replaces its Hellhound Inferno cannon with a special weapon known as the Chem Cannon that makes it more effective in an anti-infantry role. The Chem Cannon is very potent against all types of infantry, even heavily armoured elite soldiers and those wearing power armour. A deceptively simple adaptation of the Hellhound, the Banewolf replaces its Promethean with a bulky canisters of toxic gas. This incredibly corrosive fume has been certified by the Magos Biologists, and inimical and is almost every life from in the galaxy. Ejected from the tank's chem cannon in hissing jets, the hideous substance chews through ceramite and chitin alike in microseconds. The victim is dissolved by the virulent chemicals, blood boils and organs rupture, skin erupts into bubbling listens, and sloughs from the crumbling bone, until eventually the target is reduced to slick of organic sludge, to be grounded beneath the tank's wiring tracks. Commonly, Banewolf crews are remote, taciturn individuals who do not mix with other guardsmen. Their vehicles are as likely to see action, quarrelings, and uprisings of traitorous human chaos cults as they are against deadly Xenos threats, and to deploy the chem cannon against fellow humans, no matter how debased, can the harrowing experience. It takes a particular kind of narcissist to crew such a short-range and grotesque terror weapon. The sacrosanct formula of gas used in the Banewolf's chem cannon is dictated by the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Even so, various regiments have been known to employ their own makeshift concoctions. On such mixture, known as the Penitent's Breath, was used to score a heretical uprising from the scum pits of Salvar. The iridescent spray proved effective, but the Banewolf crews who employed it were themselves swiftly executed for heresy afterward. Banewolves are only used when the complete eradication of the enemy is warranted. They are rarely deployed as a part of an Imperial Guard force, as the gas and fumes produced by the vehicle's main weapon are powerful enough to even kill Space Marines. The risk of this collateral of friendly damage is high. The Hellhound flame tank crew consists of 3 members, number 1 being the commander, number 2 being the driver, and number 3 being the gunner. This also applies to the Devil Dog and Banewolf variants. The commander of the vehicle is that of the rank of Guardsman 2nd class, whilst the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 3rd class. The next highest rank is that of a Lance Corporal, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a Corporal, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank afterwards is that of a Sergeant, and again the rest of the tank crew are Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is a Staff Sergeant, and again the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a Sergeant 1st class, and the rest of his tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank after that is that of a Master Sergeant, and again the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a First Sergeant, and the rest of his tank crew are that of Guardsman 1st class. The next highest rank is that of a Second Lieutenant, and the rest of his tank crew are that of Guardsman 1st class. The next highest rank is as First Lieutenant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 1st class. And the highest rank obtainable for a Hellhound is that of a Captain, and the rest of his tank crew are that of Guardsman 1st class. The Destroyer Tank Hunter. The Destroyer Tank Hunter is a specialized tank hunter used by the Imperial Guard based on the same chassis as the Leman Russ battle tank. The Destroyer, once common among the armoured regiments of the Guard, is fast becoming a relic due to its complex nature of its primary weapon. While once a common tank hunter, by the 41st Millennium, the knowledge and understanding required to produce the complex tank destroyers primary weapon has been forgotten or lost, and only a few Forge Worlds have the expertise to produce them. However, as each weapon must be handcrafted, and since demand vastly outstrips supply, most regiments are lucky to have a full squadron of destroyers, with a few able to muster an entire tank destroyer company. These tanks are guarded jealously by their owners, knowing the chances of receiving any replacements is very slim, and the chance to recover considerable wreck is a high priority. Even if the main weapon is lost, the whole can still be refurbished and refitted with another weapon, a demolisher cannon, battle cannon, or sometimes a vanquisher cannon. The destroyer's primary mission is to first and foremost seek out and destroy enemy armoured vehicles. While somewhat useful in an assault, the lack of a turret or secondary weaponry makes these vehicles more vulnerable to enemy infantry or flank attacks than normal, relegating them to a supporting role behind the main vanguard, while their best shine is on the defence, ambushing enemy armoured columns from prepared hiding positions and firing a couple of quick shots before redeploying to avoid returning fire. Their ability to effectively destroy targets from long range makes them prime targets, with enemy tank crews valuing confirmed destroyer kills more than other vehicles. While the destroyer retains most of the features of the old Mars Alpha pattern hull, it has been modified by removing the turret ring, replacing it with a main crew hatch and both forward and rear maintenance access hatches, and instead carries a laser destroyer in a limited traverse mount, offset and left side of the hull. The primary gun sight used to aim this weapon is a set front at the centre in hull, and can be used by both the vehicle's gunner and commander. While it comes equipped with no standard secondary weapons, some vehicles incorporate a pintle-mounted heavy stubber or stormbolter. Other common upgrades include camo netting, extra armor, a hunter-killer missile, improved communications, a minesweeper, rough terrain modification, a searchlight, track guards, and smoke launchers. The Destroyer Tank Hunter consists of 3 members, number 1 being the commander, number 2 being the driver, and number 3 being the gunner. The lowest insignia is that of a guardsman 2nd class in command of the vehicle, whilst the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 3rd class. The next highest rank is that of a lance corporal, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a corporal, and the rest of the tank crew again are that of guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a staff sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a sergeant 1st class, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a master sergeant, and again the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of 1st sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 1st class. The next highest rank is that of a 2nd lieutenant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 1st class. The next highest rank is that of a 1st lieutenant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman 1st class. And finally, the highest ranking insignia for the Destroyer Tank Hunter is that of captain, and the rest of his tank crew are that of guardsman 1st class. The Thunderer Siege Tank. The Thunderer Siege Tank is a close-range infantry support vehicle used by the Imperial Guard that was developed to replace the lost Leman Russ demolisher tanks by using the unused chassis of the Destroyer Tank Hunter tanks. While not as effective as the Leman Russ demolisher due to its lack of secondary weaponry, the Thunderer has found its role in providing potent infantry support at close ranges against fixed targets and for limited times because of its inability to store large amounts of ammunition. The Thunderer Siege Tank is produced at the Forge Worlds that cannot manufacture the heavy laser destroyer weapon needed for the Destroyer Tank Hunter, as the Thunderer Siege Tank is a replacement vehicle and it is not included in any known Imperial unit's official order of battle. The Thunderer was developed as a field conversion sometime during the 38th millennium by the Departamento Militarum field workshop as a replacement for lost Leman Russ demolisher tanks. Using a Destroyer Tank Hunter chassis and a spare demolisher cannon, the field workshop was able to quickly replace lost Leman Russ demolisher tanks. Due to the advanced technology used in the Destroyer Tank Hunter's heavy laser destroyer being very difficult to repair and costly to manufacture, there are many unused Destroyer Tank Hunter chassis that can be retrofitted with a demolisher cannon. After stripping out the laser destroyer and its capacitors and batteries and installing the demolisher cannon, there is only room for 18 shells, and thus the tank cannot operate for long periods of time. The Thunderer Siege Tank is armed with a single forward-firing demolisher cannon and no other weapons. The Thunderer has extra armor added to its dorsal surface due to the need for protection from enemies who have fortified themselves within tall buildings during urban combat. The Thunderer can be upgraded with a pintle-mounted heavy stubber or a pintle-mounted stormbolter, camo netting, extra armor plating, a hunter-killer missile launcher, improved communications equipment, a minesweeper, rough terrain modifications, searchlights, track guards, and smoke launchers. Another unnamed variant of the Thunderer is known to exist, which instead of the Demolisher cannon is equipped with a battle cannon or a Vanquisher cannon, and is used by armoured regiments when they lack an adequate number of functioning Leman Russ tanks. The Thunderer siege tank is commanded by 3 members, number 1 being the commander, number 2 being the driver, and number 3 being the gunner. Starting with the lowest rank, the commander, he is of the rank of Guardsman 2nd class, and the rest of his crew are that of Guardsman 3rd class. The next highest rank is that of a Lance Corporal, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a Corporal, and again the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a Sergeant, and then the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a Staff Sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of Sergeant 1st class, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a Master Sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of a First Sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 1st class. The next highest rank is that of Second Lieutenant, and the rest of his tank crew are that of Guardsman 1st class. The next highest rank is that of First Lieutenant, and the rest of the tank crew are Guardsman 1st class. And finally, the highest rank obtainable for the Thunderer siege tank is that of a Captain, and the rest of the tank crew are that of Guardsman 1st class. The Salamander Scout Vehicle. The Salamander Scout Vehicle, also known as the Salamander Reconnaissance Tank, is a small reconnaissance vehicle used by the Imperial Guard and based on the Chimera chassis. It's designed primarily for reconnaissance duties and is lightly armed and armoured, but very fast. The Salamander Scout forms the backbone of an armoured regiment's reconnaissance company, operating at the forefront of an attack in order to observe enemy deployments. Though no match for a tank, it is fast and capable of leaving any dangerous situation quickly, and, unlike the Sentinel Scout, capable of protected engagements with the light vehicles of enemy scout units. Salamanders usually work in pairs for mutual protection, taking turns as one vehicle moves forward under the cover of the other, since they are most likely to be ambushed or encounter a strong enemy position. For major offences, when there are insufficient numbers of Salamander Scouts, it is common to mix them with armoured fist squads temporarily detached from their parent platoon or company. While an offensive unit by nature, Salamander Scouts are also used to rear area policing and security duties, such as patrolling supply routes or guarding headquarters units when operating on the defensive. The Salamander Scout vehicle is known to be produced on the following forge worlds: Mars, Griffin 4, Syges 8, Voss, Tolkan, Acturaran, Lucius, Triplex Phil, Garia, Maxilicia, and Valhedium. The Salamander Scout uses the Chimera chassis with a number of modifications. In place of a troop compartment is a rear fighting platform where the vehicle's commander and comms operator are located, along with navigational, long-range and backup communication equipment and the vehicle's autocannon. The communication equipment, powered by its own dedicated generator, allows the vehicle to maintain contact with command units up to the regimental level, including Leviathan transports. The driver and gunner for the hull-mounted heavy bolter sit in the forward compartment of the Salamander Scout. The vehicle's twin engines housed in the track sponsons on either side of the main hull are often overcharged in order to increase the vehicle's top speed. while a breach of regulations and a source of extra strain on the engines and their maintenance crews, given the dangers forced by such scouting units, this modification is often overlooked by commanders. Other more standard modifications made for the Salamander include camo netting, extra armor, a hunter-killer missile, improved comms, a minesweeper, rough terrain modification, a searchlight, track guards, and smoke launchers. The Salamander scout tank crew consists of 4 members, number 1 being the commander, number 2 being the gunner, number 3 being the driver, and number 4 being the comms operator. The lowest ranking Salamander scout tank crew is that of a staff sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsmen 2nd class. And the highest ranking insignia for the Salamander scout tank crew is that of a sergeant 1st class, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsmen 2nd class. The Salamander Command Vehicle. The Salamander Command Vehicle is an Imperial Guard vehicle based around the same chassis as the Salamander Scout Vehicle, the Chimera. It is equipped with a better command and communication equipment and frequently used by armoured company HQs and armoured reconnaissance squadrons. The Salamander Command is issued to company command units as a combined transport, liaised and communications vehicle, while often used to armoured formations. Other types of fighting units such as light infantry also make use of these vehicles. An exception is heavy tank companies, which are normally commanded for one of the super heavy vehicles. Though they find use as support vehicles, while not meant to be a front-line fighting unit, the Salamander's useful qualities have found it performing other jobs besides command and control. Artillery units use these vehicles as forward observation posts, while many commissars have been known to requisition them as their own personal transport. In a pinch, they can also be used as general utility vehicle for towing supplies or weapons if there is a shortage of Trojans. The Salamander Command Vehicle is known to be produced on the following Forge worlds: Mars, Griffin 4, Syges 8, Voss, Tolkan, Acturaran, Lucius, Triplex Phil, Garia, Maxilicia, and Valhedium. When used in a command role, the Salamander is crewed by the company's captain and his command staff. As with the Scout variant, the command vehicle features a rear platform for the vehicle commander and comms operator. Although this space is given over to extensive communication equipment, allowing the captain to command his unit, keep in touch with other company commanders, and communicate with his regimental commander. The heavy flamer or heavy bolter is also operated from the rear platform, while the driver and hull-mounted heavy bolter gunner sits in the forward compartment. All Salamander command vehicles are also fitted with a surveyor gear. In the Millienium pattern, this comes in the form of a multi-spectral suit, operated by the driver, which includes magnification tracking and night vision equipment. Salamanders may also be upgraded with camo netting, extra armor plating, a hunter-killer missile, a minesweeper, a pintle-mounted heavy stubber or stormbolter, rough terrain modification, a searchlight, track guards, and smoke launchers. The Salamander Command Vehicle is commanded by 4 members, number 1 being the commander, number 2 being the gunner, number 3 being the driver, and number 4 being the comms operator. Starting with the lowest insignia is that of a corporal, and who is the commander of the vehicle, and the rest of the members are that of guardsmen 2nd class. This rank also sees the transportation and responsibility of the commissar, which is the commissar's preferred transporter. The next highest rank is that of a master sergeant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsmen 2nd class. The next highest rank is that of the second lieutenant, and the rest of the crew are that of guardsman first class. The next highest rank is that of first lieutenant, and the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman first class. The next highest rank is that of a captain, and that the rest of the tank crew are that of guardsman first class. And finally, the highest ranking crew member for the Salamander command vehicle is that of the major, and the rest of the tank crew are that of specialist guardsmen. Here is an overview of all the enlisted ranks and non-commissioned officer ranks, including commissioned officer ranks, in this particular video. Guardsman 3rd class, Guardsman 2nd class, Guardsman 1st class, Specialist Guardsman, Seasoned Guardsman aka Lance Corporal, Senior Guardsman aka Corporal, Sergeant, Staff Sergeant, Sergeant First Class, Master Sergeant, First Sergeant, Second Lieutenant, First Lieutenant, Captain, and finally, the Major. Thank you for watching this episode. In the next episode, we'll be exploring the lore and the organization behind the Imperial Guard Sentinels. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button, and also to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as hit that bell button so you won't miss another video. And furthermore, you can also support me on my Patreon page. The links are in the video description below. And I would like to thank all of my Patreon members, regardless of which tier member they are, that wish to continue to support my work. Those who support me on the Patreon page will be featured in our battle reports on my channel, as well as the Striking Scorpion 82 YouTube channel and Plus channels. Win honor, glory, and praise from the Emperor, and for the 18th Cadian Army Group. Thank you for watching this video. Cadia stands.